Hey, want to hear a story? You know Dimension 20, one of the premier TTRPG actual plays with like a lot of seasons at this point? Yeah, Dimension 20 is awesome. It's been host to countless incredible DMs and players, from Brennan Lee Mulligan to Lou Wilson to Javon Thompson, and in Season 12, they had a newcomer to their DMing seat, Gabe Hicks, aka Gabe James Games, as he's known as online. This guy DM'd Shriek Week with a system that he developed, and by all accounts, it went pretty well. He went on to play in the official state-endorsed D&D game at Gen Con. He also worked with Critical Role and many other big-name publishers in the TTRPG space. He had connections, collabs, convention appearances, all the things a budding influencer could want. And it all seemed to be going pretty well for him. So, where the hell is he now? Well, to answer that question, I gotta tell you a story featuring our old friends, manipulation, toxicity, and general foolishness. But of course, I'm sure you guys want some more specifics than that, so without further ado, let's all ask the question, what the hell happened? So yeah, Gabe Hicks had a pretty extensive presence in the TTRPG space, but wasn't his entire life. Like many other people, Gabe had relationships. And it turns out that those romances and relationships were not exactly the highlight of his character. This past year, a bunch of women and femme people came out to talk about Gabe James Games, his manipulation, his lies, his cheating, and even his alleged abuse of his partners. And a lot of these women did not even know that each other existed, because Gabe had a habit of lying to a lot of the people in his life, including the people that he claimed to love. There were a lot of accounts, but there were 3 really big ones. And we're going to start off with his committed partner, Cam. Cam and Gabe met at a convention. They started a relationship, and it started out as polyamorous. However, Gabe requested that he and Cam move into a committed monogamous relationship. This is going to be important. Cam had some concerns. Gabe had some problems. Even while they were poly, he lied and was a little bit distrustful about the people he was in relationships with. And obviously, that is a big warning sign, even when you're in a polyamorous relationship. Like, a big thing in any sort of open relationship is communication. And if you can't handle that basic principle, well, it is a real bad sign, especially if you want to move into monogamy. But Cam loved Gabe and trusted him, and so they agreed. They moved into a monogamous relationship. And Gabe, well, people still pursued him, oftentimes at conventions. Gabe kind of brushed this aside, claiming that these people were psycho fans and stalkers who were obsessed with him.
He also told me repeatedly that his interactions with these people were that of fan and creator, and that they were just obsessive fans who wanted to work with him and be just like him, and they made him uncomfortable.
And obviously, Cam was worried about that. I mean, stalking is no joking matter, so obviously they and many of the people Gabe was with took those claims seriously, because again, Gabe was making these claims oftentimes at conventions, in front of other people, in front of other businesses. And that is also going to be important as well. Now, Cam did have suspicions. I mean, Gabe wasn't 100% trustworthy when they were in an open relationship, so obviously Cam had some questions when they became a committed relationship. And Gabe oftentimes would downplay and discount these concerns.
And when I would see them and bring them up and ask, hey, just making sure, are you interested in this person? Totally okay. If you are, I just want to know. He would lie and told me that my insecurities and trauma from my last relationship and my bipolar was making me anxious.
And of course, it only gets worse when you realize that Cam's concerns were not only justified, but what was really going on was 100% worse. Those psycho stalkers that were obsessed with Gabe, yeah, those women weren't stalker fans. They were women that Gabe was actively pursuing and had no idea that he was even in a relationship with Cam in the first damn place. Maisie was one of these alleged stalker fans when in fact she was a person that Gabe had pursued. They had been in a relationship together for a while at that point, and she had no clue that Cam existed. In fact, Gabe straight up claimed to her face like, "Hey, I'm single, I'm carefree," because Maisie asked directly. Asked if he had other partners, asked if he was with anyone, asked about situationships.
How James has left me with a lingering, constant fear that every person that I feel close to is going to end up having a secret partner the entire time. Well, he did. Even during that conversation, he did the entire time.
Gabe tried to keep the other people he was with at arm's length because obviously if all of these people met with each other and correlated and corroborated their experiences, it would paint Gabe in a really, really, really negative light. It was all a web of lies and deceit, but Maisie said directly in her video that she wasn't even the person who was hurt the most by this. Next up, we have Jillian. Once again, Jillian was another person that was pursued by Gabe even while he was in a relationship with Cam, both while they were polyamorous and while they were monogamous. Jillian in particular got done pretty dirty by Gabe Hicks's bad-mouthing to his colleagues and to other businesses in the TTRPG sphere. He didn't just bad-mouth her, it also extended to her primary partner, who, by the way, is just some guy. He didn't ask for any of this. He was dragged into the drama simply by Gabe Hicks giving him a bad reputation in the TTRPG sphere by claiming that he's one of these stalkers, which is just, well, that's just diabolical. Jillian herself is a cosplayer. She goes to conventions like PAX, and she was directly affected because Gabe was constantly saying that she is creepy, that she makes him uncomfortable, and he's saying this not just to Cam, his committed partner, but also to other businesses in the industry. Remember when I said that that would come up again?
So if you've heard anything about me through him, please understand that it's not true. This weekend at PAX, I was treated really fucking horribly. He was really weird and kept dodging me and was really cold to me, and his partner was equally cold. Granted, with the information they had at the time, made a lot of sense.
Jillian works with these people. The TTRPG space is not a huge environment, so when a guy like Gabe Hicks goes around calling you some kind of crazed stalker, it does affect your reputation. And he was doing this at PAX, a convention that Jillian was also present for. So you can imagine how awkward it is. She has no idea about any of this. For all she knows, Gabe Hicks is a guy who likes her, they were together, everything's all good, when all of a sudden people are acting awkward and even directly rude because behind your back, he's telling people that you are crazy. I mean, seriously, that sounds like a nightmare.
He lied about the nature of his relationship with many, many people. And he lied about it to an entire convention full of his friends and his colleagues to hide the fact that he was cheating on me.
All of it makes sense now. At the time, I had no idea why people seemed to be so turned off from my presence. And so I just ended up leaving a lot of the time because I didn't know why people were being so mean.
He tried painting her as obsessive, a gold digger who was using her partners to get into the TTRPG space, when that was so far from the truth. The craziest thing is that while I was watching all of these accounts from these people, they all spoke about how they got along with each other. I mean, they met because of this situation, unfortunately. And when they corroborated their experiences, and as they were talking, they realized that they really liked each other.
What's difficult for me is that I am, as I said, polyamorous. And if he had told me from the beginning that he was interested in Jillian and that they were starting a sexual relationship or any kind of relationship, or if he was interested in Maisie or any of the other many people, I would have been okay with it. And he was the person who suggested we be monogamous.
So he basically lied to all these people for absolutely no reason. I guess some guys are more horny for bullshitting than they are for actual women. Okay, so we've gone over all the accounts, and I can't exaggerate this enough. These 3 people are not the only people who posted about Gabe Hicks. He's obviously had plenty of relationships before these 3. He had other relationships besides them. He also had friends who talked about him, and his stuff goes way beyond just the manipulation of his relationship. I mean, he was constantly bad-mouthing people in the TTRPG space in general. It goes beyond just calling people stalkers. According to Cam, he would constantly complain about the cast crew of big productions he was working on, which is a particularly crappy point of view. Like, look, we all have bad work days, but bad-mouthing the people who are working hard to make these shows happen, it's just unnecessary. And especially in such a small space, it can really, really hurt people's reputation when he is so open about how angry he is about the people he's working with. So, yeah, all these accounts come out, and Gabe had some apologies to make. He published a statement to TikTok, which got nuked from the internet. Unfortunately, I can't even pull it off the Wayback Machine, which was real disappointing. But I do have his statement from Twitter. Again, pulled from the Wayback Machine because his Twitter was also nuked from the internet. It read as such: "I've hurt plenty, and the problems I've caused go deep. I need to remove myself from doing more harm, and also taking responsibility. Right now, taking responsibility looks like holding myself accountable and getting therapy, while stepping back from my social media presence." I'm going to therapy, guys. Everything's fine, pinky promise. The Arcadum tactic. Oh, hey, by the way, it looks like Dimension 20 themselves largely just moved on from this whole controversy. At the end of the day, Gabe Hicks was just somebody that they worked with for Shriek Week, and they were perfectly happy just to never have him on again, and I'm sure they would rather just move on from the situation. I mean, they didn't even make a statement, and honestly, I don't think they really need to. Gabe James Games may have had some brand, some pull, but he's not really all that. Well, I guess therapy didn't last very long for him, and he was fixed real quick because 3 months later, yeah, count it, 3 months later, this man reappears on Twitter. There, he would post 2 of the most depressing posts I've ever seen from a canceled influencer ever, even outside the D&D space. "Things happen outside your control. It's how you handle the events in your control that shows the person that you are." With 0 likes and 32 comments, the person that he is not a person that's very liked by the wider community. He then came back to ask, "Looking for legit people to collaborate with. POC TTRPG game creators at the top of the list. Please hit me up." Yeah, man, I would rather not, and looks like the rest of the POC and general tabletop community agrees with me, because that post didn't even have any comments, no reposts, no likes, 0 engagement in general. This account has continued to post sporadically, and for the most part, it's dead. I also found a personal TikTok account that doesn't seem to be used for any biz stuff. He does claim on his Twitter that he got an anonymous position at a TTRPG publisher, and that he's working under a pseudonym, though how much I'm willing to believe that, that's up in the air. Sometimes people like this will try to use, "Oh, I'm back to business, working as normal," to try to normalize their return, make it look like their detractors are just unreasonable fools in the minority, so you might as well forgive them. But yeah, it doesn't look like that's actually what's happening. They don't come back like James Charles or Logan Paul, because number one, the TTRPG space is fairly niche. There's not a lot of people here. There's not a TTRPG influencer with 20 million subscribers who are willing to overlook your sins. People here at most have under 1 million subs. Like, it's big, it's major, but it's not enough to weather most storms. And beyond that, number 2 is largely within the same point. This is a niche space. People talk, people know each other. So your sins are often not easily forgotten. And that's also why what Gabe did to Jillian and the other people in his life, that's why it's so bad. I mean, it's so easy to ruin someone's reputation in such a niche area, especially with somebody who has no idea what's going on. Like, Jillian had no idea that people thought she was some crazed stalker, and again, he's saying this at conventions in front of businesses that she might want to work with. I mean, I have had collaborations lost because people just think I make bad content. Could you imagine how bad it would be if somebody respected in the industry with friends and connections, maybe not the most famous out there, but a guy with the right friends, says that you're a crazed stalker? Yeah, that can quickly crush your career. So yeah, all in all, Gabe James was definitely engaging in some foolishness. Between his manipulation and his cheating, I don't really see a path for him to return to the TTRPG space, even if he might want to. I mean, seriously, I thought Arcadum was depressing with his 30 views on Twitch, but this dead Twitter account, the remnants of a career that could have been, it's somehow so much worse. But yeah, there you go. The sordid tale of Gabe James Games. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. And I gotta say, I am overwhelmed by the amount of people who enjoyed this series the last time we did it. I don't know if this is the vibe I'm gonna keep for this show. Let me know what you think of like this weird fake bartender thing I've got going on. I'm trying it out. I had a few ideas, but this is the one that ended up sticking. So let me know. I am definitely going to continue this series. You guys loved it. I love doing it, and trust me, there is plenty more foolishness in the TTRPG space to make fun of. This isn't even the last time we'll see polyamory gone wrong. Trust me, it'll come back up. If you guys enjoyed, you might enjoy our other mainline series, RPG Horror Stories. The last time we talked about a dude who was grooming like half his D&D party. It's linked up in the cards. But before you go, please do leave a like on this one and subscribe to Crispy's Tavern so you don't miss any of our content as it comes out. And finally, if you want to leave your own suggestions or thoughts, you can go down in the comments down below. Hey, if you can't think of a comment, leave your idea for what this series should be named. I'm old school YouTube. I like having a name for my series, you know? And I don't want to put it out there. So let me know what you guys think this should be called. In essence, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you all next time. Farewell.